If you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a member today. Members get early access to videos, access to all the stream VODs, and exclusive access to emotes as well. So if you'd like to support the channel, become a member today. Hello, Stanley.
Hi.
How are you?
Mic working?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh. Alright, yeah. So I wanted to kind of debate you because this is a thing I've kind of been seeing recently. And I just want to know, it's more of an explanation, right? So I've seen like how both the major sides of the political spectrum, like just like basic right and left, like both sides really, really like just make fun of anarchism. Like, is there any specific reason why?
Is anarchism the idea that there's just absolutely no government?
But yeah, that, and I believe there's some more adaptations to it where it's like they also believe that like everyone should kind of like fend for themselves, kind of. Like, why is that always looked down upon though? Like both sides. Like, why is
Because
it like
that's
treated
ludicrous.
like the bottom of the toilet?
You would not be able to have a society function with millions of people without some kind of a central government of some sort or another. It literally just wouldn't work. Not if you wanted to do taxation and actually have a functioning, interconnected society overall.
Why? Why would we need taxation though?
Well,
like, why is that like such?
Well, you would need taxation because you would need to pay people to enforce laws. Because if you don't enforce laws, then you would have complete and utter chaos. It would be a nightmare. You wouldn't be able to survive.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like everyone fending for themselves though. Like if you really think like that's like everyone would fend for themselves.
So are you here to troll? Because the reason people make fun of this is because that's stupid. Nobody would want to do that. That's so dumb. Like you're basically like, why don't we just make everything worse?
So this is like kind of reverts to like a basic concept called survival of the fittest.
I'm familiar.
Basically, right. Like imagine an anarchist society. Those who like can't fend for themselves, basically, you know, they kind of die. Yeah, and those who are fit to survive.
What about kids? So children wouldn't be able to survive. Do they just die?
No, not necessarily, because like, you know, I mean, okay, when I mean like everyone fend for themselves, obviously like you're allowed to take your family. Like I mean like groups. I'm not saying like we're gonna like put kids in the wild. You know, I'm not that like unethical. Where like we're just gonna throw kids into like, you know, the middle of this hellish landscape, or not hell, like in like fend for themselves.
Your
You're
saying in your society the survival of the fittest would have to fend for themselves.
Uh,
So what if a stronger, better family comes in? They can just kind of kill the family next to them? This is the society? This is just return to monk, dude. You've got to be trolling. There's no way you're serious.
It works. It works. Like, you just don't see the vision. Like, hear me out, right? Hear me out completely on this one. Like, if we survival of the fittest, the best always will come out on top, bro. That means like society will be at the most productive, the most mentally intelligent, the most productive. The physically strongest, mentally strongest will always come out on top. We'll be at the peak of our society.
We wouldn't want that, because then what about people there's always going to be somebody better in one regard or another. Then eventually it's going to come down to you. If it was down to survival of the fittest, like on intellect, the anarchists would probably be the first to go based on what you're saying. So, like, how long until that happens? Eventually, someone else is going to be smarter than you. Eventually, you might be the strongest, but you know what? Somebody else might go to the gym and work out and get stronger than you. This is ridiculous. Society doesn't function by only elevating the people that are the smartest and absolute best. When society works as an overall collection, this is why we have an economy. This is why we have the power of a dollar. Because everybody, regardless of their skill, has the ability to participate in the economy, and that's part of what keeps a society functioning, and none of this can happen without a government. So...
But why, though? Why do we need... Like, why is that why are you such, like, fixated on the idea of, like, an economy and all? Like, why?
Okay, you're definitely
Do we really
trolling.
need it?
There's no way you're serious.
Do we really need one, though? Like, hear me out. Like, actually, though, hear me out. Like, literally, quite literally, we don't need one. We literally, like, that's the entire point of anarchism.
How are you going to incentivize people to make products?
like, okay, so basically, again, comes back survival of the fittest, right? You want to survive, you get your resources, first come, first serve type deal. You know what I mean?
Okay. See you later, dude.
It's literally for like.
What the hell? Hello, Stanley. Have we talked before?
Yeah, we have. I think we talked last stream, if I'm not mistaken.
What do you want to talk about today?
I kind of wanted to add on to the debate we were having last time.
What were we
Uh,
debating last time?
oh, we were debating anarchism.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I kind of like rewatched that just because I just wanted to like kind of understand like where you're coming from, because if I got to debate again, I got to remember. And we're talking about like how we need the government to actually like tax us and like for infrastructure and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that actually kind of I actually wanted to bring up a point in the first debate. I really didn't. I was trying to debate the fact that like why do we really need to have taxation?
Because you need to fund the infrastructure for a society. When you have hundreds of millions of people in one society, there needs to be some kind of a shared infrastructure, at least in some contexts. Or else you will literally have chaos. So that's why I brought up the
To
police, for
pay
example.
to have shelter.
What about the police, for example? Someone's going to have to enforce that. And those people are going to have to be paid.
Okay, I think I did like a poor job of like actually describing anarchism. The entire idea is that like okay, I hate to describe it like this, but like it's more of like no government, and it's like smaller groups of people actually establish their own morals and all that other kind of stuff. I don't like to put it like this. Like I'm being so serious when I hate to put it like this, but like the word tribe, like I
Mm-hmm.
hate to put it like that, but that's the only word I can really think that actually describes what
So what
like
happens
I'm
when
thinking here.
one tribe decides that their currency is pine cone, and then another tribe decides that their currency is still going to remain like a US dollar? How are you going to trade with that tribe? What if that tribe is in a different region? They have access to some kind of a resource that you don't have that you need. Maybe it's medicine, maybe it's insulin, something that's necessary. How are you going to do that then?
I never said like they could work, they can work together. I'm not saying like
You're saying they can work
everybody's like
together, but you're also saying they're
they
their own
can.
tribes that would create their own systems, their own morality,
Yes.
etc. So what's keeping them from deciding that maybe they're going to use something different for a currency that then makes actually trading and working with other tribes almost impossible because they're not using the same currency anymore?
But like what's necessarily wrong with that? They can do it. What's necessarily wrong with somebody wanting to use a pine cone? Okay, I
Because
know that's
what
kind
if
of like an
the
extreme
other
example, but
tribe
like
over across the states or whatever has access to something like medicine that the current tribe doesn't have access to? How are they going to get that? What are they going to give the other tribe? Who regulates
well, there's other
the
ways.
money? Who regulates currency and the economy? How is that going to actually function?
There's other ways to trade. That you could trade things via, let's say that tribe that has medicine is running very low on food. We can trade food. There's things
What
like
if they're
food
not,
trades. It's
though?
not
What if they're in a
specifically.
place of tons of resources and wealth? They have everything set up. Other people don't. Then what are you going to do?
There could be like other sort of there could always be something else to trade other than other than what call it. I
Like
quite
a
literally lost
currency?
the word. Currency. Yeah, I
Okay.
literally forgot the word currency for a moment.
No,
Yeah,
it's no
there could be
worries.
other
It's
things to trade other than
but also if you're talking about
there.
tribes,
You
like are you saying there's going to be like large tribes of say hundreds of thousands of people like broken up in land masses because then that ultimately would still be a sense of a state, right?
yeah, but like the thing is that it's such a smaller. Okay, when we like tribe, I mean like we're thinking like smaller, right? We're thinking smaller because like tens of thousands of people. I think like if there's a truly just like perfect anarchist society, I feel like there might be a tribe with tens of thousands of people. But the thing is that it will just keep breaking itself apart to the point where like it will become smaller tribes.
That's going to be even worse because then each tribe is going to break things up. They're each going to have different sets of ethics, different sets of currency. They won't be able to function together. What happens until when one tribe decides that over here it's unethical to be black, so no black people are allowed in my tribe? Then what are you going to do? Who's going to stop that from happening?
There could be other tribes that could work together. I mean, like like I hate to like put this
It's
sense of
just
morality, but
relying
the
on
thing is,
human cooperation, which I don't think that humans. Of course, I think humans have the ability to cooperate, but you're giving way too much credit to the humans' ability to just randomly cooperate. The tribes would go to war. They would fight each other. It would be a nightmare.
that brings back to the point of natural selection that I brought up last time.
And then you remember what I said too about natural selection?
Uh,
That too does not lead to a flourishing society? Because just if somebody, say, isn't the strongest, well, maybe they can provide something different. Maybe they're providing financially for somebody. Maybe they're providing emotionally for somebody. Survival of the fittest is basically just might equals right.
but you have to. Oh, okay, so to come back on your point about like the whole tribal and like sense of morality thing, you have to reason why there would be an anarchist society, because in my opinion, like there is no government that can fully say every at any point, right? You need how do I explain this? There will not be a government that will secure rights forever. It will like eventually something will happen.
So why
Like
wouldn't we
I'm
keep
like
trying to why wouldn't we keep trying to make the government secure rights instead of just doing away with it and let it being every man for himself?
if you the only person that could actually secure what you want to do is basically yourself at the end of the day. At every point of which no government can last forever. No government is going to be able to secure one's rights forever. And at that point, you need to really think of what is the best possibility to actually secure one's rights, because sure, tribes could actually happen, but in more anarchist society it's almost like every man for himself, if that makes sense. But I don't mean that as in like a bet like we're like children are for themselves. I obviously mean like families and stuff, if you really consider that a tribe can stick together. But like that kind of like mentality where you know it's better to be your own governing self than have like another governing
Maybe, but
authority
that's impossible with this
over
society
you.
that we live in right now. It's literally not possible. Some
Why?
something some central body needs to enforce laws and taxation and infrastructure and also currency and everything else that makes this
Why?
society function across the board.
Why so specifically infrastructure? That's a reoccurring point. I want to know why so specifically infrastructure.
Because there are certain government things that are provided to people via our tax dollars, and those are important. Infrastructure doesn't even necessarily have to mean like a physical building. Like it could just mean like the concept of like welfare, for example. That could be government infrastructure. So I don't see why, like how, like what about the people that have benefited immensely from things like that?
You have to, in this society, like the thing is that with welfare, if it was totally anarchist, they it, they get everything they want, because if there's no like they would be able to get any of and all resources they could possibly find and get. So the thing is that even if they are in such a state where they need to depend on welfare, they'll be able to get those resources that they'll all need. Basically, they'll be able to get
How
those
do you know they'll be able to
resources
get
just
those resources?
because they'll okay, it's not like depending on like how it's the fact that like
What happens if another tribe has those resources? You're
they can maybe work together. The thing is that
okay.
the actual motivating factor of actually having they want to get those resources is the fact that actually comes back to like human like psychology, of which they're gonna want to get like they will want to get them. They are going to 100% want to get them because they have that motivation of their survival basically. That's why we don't need like the currency or anything else, because if you have the
Okay.
own motivation
But
of
then
your
if they have no
survival,
currency and means to trade, then you're saying they'll get them any means necessary, which in this case would probably be violence, right?
yes, it
So
could
why are
lead to
you
that.
advocating for something that's just going to make the world worse?
it's not going to necessarily make the world worse, because think about it, right?
I think you need
There
to
is going
spend
to be
more
no
time thinking
over.
about this, okay? I do need to go though, but
Listen,
thank you for coming on,
I
okay?
am trying to multitask. I'm edging while like debating you, okay? I'm
That's
trying to
great. Just
multitask
work
here.
on your look into this more. Think it through more, okay? Bye. Okay.